From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live. And you already know that we can be always found on YouTube, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, and on Facebook as well, too. So this show can be seen all day long. So pretty much it is what it is, and you already know what time it is. There's a reason why they call me the Primetime Capper, and this is why, because I always deliver in prime time. I told you guys exactly last week, if you do watch NFL Bet Exchange, that the Commanders could get the big upset on Monday Night Football, and that's exactly what they did. The Commanders get the big upset on Monday Night Football, beating the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles 32-31. A lot of people felt like the Eagles had a shoe-in. They made them a -11 favorite. The moment that I saw that they did that, I said that, the Eagles are in some big trouble tonight, because in these type of situations, those games never really work in the favor of the favorite to cover. You know what I mean? But this is a rivalry game. You know what I mean? So when you look at a rivalry game, you'll tell yourself that I think that this one is going to be one that can be won. This is one that we can go all in on. Even though I did play the insurance last night, we hit 3 out of 4 bets on this as well too. So when I looked at that situation, I told myself that, we got to go ahead and take Washington, because in 2020, Washington actually beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were 11-0 coming in the game. And peep this, the Steelers were a -13, and literally they were giving them no chance. And I remember the same guy who won as the quarterback last night was the quarterback in that game. And I'm just keep on asking myself, how is Heineke not the starter for the team? Ron Rivera, you got some explaining to do, champ. How is he not your starter? Seriously. I know that you guys went after Carson Wentz and everything like that, but Carson Wentz is a waste of time, and you know that you're losing money with this guy. And at the end of the day, Heineke has played them into a good spot. They've won their last 4 out of 5 games. They've looked good doing it as well, too. And they have Chase Young coming back next week. So there was a lot of elements that worked in Washington's favor last night. But Philadelphia had a lot of negatives coming in. They were 6-0 against teams under 500. 2-0 against teams over 500. One of those teams was the Dallas Cowboys. The other team who was seen as the number 1 team in the NFL today, is the Minnesota Vikings, after a big win on Sunday versus the Bills. You guys know that I was out of town, so I couldn't talk about that game, but we'll talk about that more on Thursday when we do NFL Bet Exchange. But I truly do feel that the Commanders did have themselves a game last night, and I think that they oversold the Eagles as well too. We all know that the Eagles did not play anybody to start the season off. If you didn't go 8-0 with that schedule, or 7-1 or 6-2 with that group, then pretty much the Eagles would have been looked at as just an average team this year. But Jalen Hurts is presented a Michael Vick, Randall Cunningham element with the pass and the run. Then you have a pretty good defense as well too, and then you got some exciting wide receivers as well. But I haven't been a big believer in this Eagles team the whole season, so I pretty much felt like the Eagles were in a position where when somebody beats them, they're going to show some flaws, and they showed a lot of flaws last night. And they are in a tough spot. And I say this because I'm moving on to my next topic. Congratulations to all the bettors that followed last night. And my clients did hit the over 43 in this game as well, too. And we hit the over 16 team total. And also we did hit the over in the first half as well. And then we did bring home the plus 11. And shout out to all the guys that took the money line like I advised on the show. I took the insurance for it because I just wanted to be safe, because plus 11 is just as good as good as gold to me in the NFL. That's like a plus 22 in college. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. We went ahead, we took care of our business in that spot. And if you did tell those bets yesterday on the Twitter, congratulations to you. But we move on and let's talk about the NFC East. And in the NFC East, we have a total record right now of is going to be this. We have a 6-3 Cowboys team. You have a 7-2 Giants team, an 8-1 Eagles team, and then you have Washington coming in as a 5-5 team right now. So you have everybody over 500 in this division. And if you look at the numbers, they are really running away with the rest of the NFL. This is absolutely nuts. You haven't seen something like this since the early 90s with this group. And you know what? The funniest part about it is they had a fifth team here. I wish that, I had call in and thing like that, but I answered the question for you. It was the Phoenix, wasn't the Arizona Cardinals. It was the Phoenix Cardinals, and they were absolutely dreadful. So that them having 4 teams in the division is so smart because that 5-team division stuff used to be the worst. But let me stick to the script. The Eagles are 8-1 now, and the Giants got themselves a nice win. But once again, the Giants are a team that really hasn't played anybody either. But the Giants have won the games that they weren't expected to win. Okay, so the Giants are in good shape right now because they have, to me, the best offensive player in football, Saquon Barkley. The Cowboys are good because they have a great defense backed up. That's being kind of the backbone of the team this season, but the offense is still moving and grooving as well too. Philadelphia is a great team that has great defense and a really futuristic offense, the way that they run this thing. And then Washington is just good old NFL football. You know what I mean? They're just blood and guts on the field. You don't know how the game is going to go. And this is really telling because a lot of these NFC East games are going to be in December. I've been reading all schedules for you guys for all year long, but a lot of these teams are going to be meeting up here in the next 4 to 6 weeks, okay? Because we have about, I say, 7 to 8 weeks left in the season, right? So half of these games are going to be NFC East matchups. No more, playing patty cake with the Texans and the Colts and all these teams that are very beatable. And I know the Colts, you guys are going to say, well, they beat the Raiders. Damn, the way that McDaniels is coaching right now, my little 5-year-old nephew could beat the Raiders. So it's just that's a different story. We'll talk more about that on Mike's show on Thursday. But the thing is, we are in a really good spot right now when divisions can play this well. This reminds me a lot of what happened last year in the AFC North. That's why that was the toughest division in football. But the NFC East used to hold pretty much they used to hold it down. This is the most publicized, the most followed division in all of football, if not all of sports. You have to understand these are four the biggest media. Media outlets. You have the newspaper in Dallas, you have the newspaper in New York, you have the newspaper in Philadelphia, and of course you have the Washington Times. These are big time cities that that live football. So this is really good right now that this is going in this way, and I really do feel like this is a coming of age situation because you didn't expect much from the Giants this year, and you really didn't expect much from the Commanders this year as well too. You felt like it was going to be an Eagles-Cowboys showdown, and these two teams would just be there. No, these teams have went ahead and dominated on their schedules as well too. Washington has came back from the dead after dropping 4 games in a row. So this is really there's a lot of fun going on in the NFL right now, and it's because the NFC East is so good. So that's my 2 cents on that. And we'll have more about the NFL as we go this week. And you guys make sure to catch NFL Bet Exchange Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's go ahead and jump into our next topic in hand. And let's go ahead and talk about the actual gameplay tonight, which is going to happen in college football. As well. So we got NBA games that we're going to talk about in a minute, but we'll bring that up after the break. But we got Mac Tuesday night. Mac Daddy make it jump jump. I'm telling you, Mac, the Mac can start your week off very well, or it can start your week off very bad. But I always tell people, do not put the whole roll on a Mac football game. Do not do that. It doesn't matter if it's Hercules versus the midget from Austin Powers. It does not matter. You know what I mean? Because these teams are very equally matched at the end of the day. You can be 7-3, and the team they're playing is 3-7. It doesn't matter. I can see those teams get beat by 30 points. But let's go ahead and jump into tonight's game. And the first tonight's games, we got two games to be exact. They're going on at the same time too. Both games starting at 7 o'clock. We got Ohio 7-3 go at Ball State tonight. Ohio has been killing it. They've won their last 5 games in a row. They've got themselves some pretty good wins. They are looking to run away with their portion of the MAC division, and that's going to be I think yes, it's the East Division, and they're 5-1 right now, 7-3, and it's 7-3 overall, 5-1 in conference play, and they are 5-0 at home. But all their losses have occurred on the road, but they've won 3 games on the road as well too. They lost to Kent State by 7 to open up their MAC schedule, and then they've been absolutely awesome the last few weeks. The only close game that they played was against Northern Illinois, but other than that, they've won by 21, 19, 21, and 16. So this team is coming in very dominant, but there's a reason why the line looks like this, because you have a team in Ball State who is even right now, 5-5. Once again, these are the tough teams that, even though they got as many losses as they got wins, they always find a way to punch you in the nose in these type of games. So that's why there's a 3.5. Odds makers want to make sure that you do kind of go ahead and go a little crazy on Ohio. But then they want you to be a little rational and say to yourself, possibly I could take Ball State tonight in this game. But really what they're telling you is overspend on the money line with Ohio, then go ahead and overspend on the spread with Ball State, because they're expecting a very close game. Me, on the other hand, I'm expecting a scoreboard type game. I'm expecting defense on both sides tonight. I'm expecting a very low scoring game, to be honest with you. I can't pick the winner here, but I can go ahead and show you that this is going to be a really good game tonight, and this is going to be a game that you watch on the scoreboard. I think that Ohio is going to play a little bit of keep away tonight, and they should be ahead in this game, but Ball State is always very dangerous in these spots as well, too. I'm looking at Ball State, their last 5 games. They've actually won their last 4 out of 6 after starting the season 1-3. And they've got a good win over Northern Illinois. They got a good win over Central Michigan as well, too. Bad losses to Toledo and Eastern Michigan, and got a very good win over Kent State at Kent State as well, too. So you have a very good game tonight. I'll have your bets ready for you in a moment once we get to talking tickets. All right, so let's move on to our next game, and that's going to be Bowling Green at Toledo. Holy Toledo! And Toledo is coming in here 7-3, hosting Bowling Green 5-5, who is a team that has been an enigma. But this game is weird because Bowling Green has given Toledo fits over the last few years, and they've been a double-digit dog in most of those games. And when Toledo was a double-digit dog, when they still had Kareem Hunt about 5 or 6 years ago, they smoked Bowling Green, who was the top team in the conference at that year. So this is a crazy matchup, because this 16.5 that they're giving is a lot. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you had Bowling Green come off of 3 straight wins. They got a good win over Miami of Ohio. They got a great win over Central Michigan, and they got a good win over Western Michigan. Then everything fell apart last week against Kent State. They lose to Kent State 40-6. Now they come back into this game against Toledo tonight. This one right here smells of another maybe overlooked by a very good Toledo team. Toledo is right now leading the west side of the division. And, this is huge for Ball State to win tonight, because they can move up a little bit. But you do have Toledo with a good lead right now, 5-1, 7-3. And once again, they're 5-0 at home as well, too. So I know that's working out in their favor, because they're playing really good football at home. And Toledo has been a consistent team, but I'm looking at the scores of these games. They went ahead. They blew out Central Michigan. They blew out Northern Illinois. Blew out Kent State. Had a tough one against Eastern Michigan, and also had a tough one against Ball State. So their last 2 games were very tough, and then they lost the Buffalo game on the road by a touchdown. So they've won their last 5 out of 6 after starting the season 2-2. So Toledo has a lot of things working in their favor, but can they be trusted? That's my biggest question. I don't think that I can trust them. So that's where I'm going with that one. And I feel like this one should be a good game tonight. You got an over under 50.5. Weather should play a factor into that as well, too. But I do expect possibly the over coming in this game. But I really do like Bowling Green coming in, because I feel like Bowling Green at the end of the day, other than Toledo getting smoked by Ohio State, they've played a little bit better. You know what I mean? I'm talking about non-conference and things like that. And they played pretty good against those teams as well, too. So we'll see how this one goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But Toledo will be a tough task for Bowling Green today. But this is a oversell, in my opinion, because odds makers know if they left this at 5.5, they would have everybody named Mama all over Toledo. If they made this a touchdown game, everybody would be all over Toledo. But the records call for this game to be much closer than what it is. As I said before, when you're dealing with a team that's 5-5 and you're dealing with a team that's 7-3, anything can happen in these games. The team that's 5-5 is really going through the gusto right now, and they really going through a season. The team that's 7-3, they're front running. So they might get caught tonight. So I don't know exactly how this one will play out, but I do like Bowling Green with the points tonight. So I have more bets for you on this game. So make sure you guys stick around for Talkin Tickets. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to go ahead and jump into some NBA action for tonight. And you guys stay tuned to the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I'll be right back at you in a few.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
And you know what? If you guys ever want to listen to that music that plays on my commercials and things like that, you guys look up Cookin' Soul. He's a really crafty producer. He samples a lot of different beats, jazzy beats, all types of the good sound and stuff. So you guys give him a shot. He's from Europe as well too, so it should be a lot of fun. But I use a lot of his music for these commercials and things like that. So if you guys, I have people asking me about it, so I just want to give him a little shout out right there as well too. And because I do not own the rights to it, y'all should know that. But if you are looking for that exact music, it is on YouTube, and you guys can go ahead and look it up. Cookin' Soul, you guys already know what it is. So here we are, NBA Tuesday night, and up first we have ourselves a great matchup tonight between Zion and his old AAU teammate, John Morant. So this should be a good game tonight because we have two of the star players in the NBA future guys that will be holding the torch down for the next few years as LeBron and others are starting to kind of fade away. Even though LeBron's still killing it, even though Curry's still killing it, these guys have so much shelf life left in the NBA because everybody's ready to move on to the new wave. So pretty much we have ourselves Grizzlies coming in here 9-5, Pelicans much better right now, 7-6. I'm looking at both records right now for the month of November. You have a Grizzlies team that's coming in here playing really good basketball. They've won 5 and only lost 2. Now they have won their last. They did lose their last game, 102 to 92. Things were a little bit off. Dylan Brooks was their lead scorer for that game, but Porzingis had himself a game. Kuzma had a great game that night as well too. So there was a lot of things that worked out in the Wizards' favor. Wizards led most of the way as well too. So they needed a little bit of break after a quick 2-game winning streak. And then before that, they were on a 3-game winning streak that was snapped by Boston. So you have the Grizzlies who are just cruising along, trying to get back to that rematch with the Warriors. I'm looking at the stats right now. Ja Morant has fallen below the 33 points he was scoring. Now he's at 28.8, but Desmond Bane is averaging 24.7. That means that these guys are getting at least 60 to 65% of their points. But then you have Dylan Brooks getting his 15.5, and Tyus Jones is getting 10.9 off the bench. Now, you guys do know that Jefferson returned, that you guys do know that they did get back Jaren Jackson the other night. So he's getting into the flow of things, but hopefully he can be healthy at some point because it's really rough. But Steven Adams is getting 11 rebounds a game as well too. So that's something to look at. And that tells me, why would they favor the Pelicans in this spot? Well, the Pelicans are playing much better at home. The Pelicans actually have a losing record this month. They're 3-4, and they've actually dropped their last 3 out of 5 games as well too. So I'm looking at this team, and I'm looking at who they're playing, and looking at the way that these games are shaking out. They've only had one game where it was settled by double digits, and that was a loss. The rest of these games were settled by 9 points or less. So you're looking at this, and the Pelicans are not that far off. So that's why you can't say to yourself and be like, well, the Pelicans really don't have a game. No. They have a shot. That's why they're the favorite tonight, because there's something going on here, and there's possibly a chance that stars sit out. That's usually what the case is when you have a team that's a 3.5 that really doesn't look like a 3.5. To me, this one is really a pick'em game, but we're going to see how it goes, see how it shakes out. I think the best bet here is to scoreboard watch and just enjoy the game. So let's move on to our next game in hand, and this is going to be somewhat of a rivalry game in a sense, well, playoff rivalry in a sense, because you have the Clippers going to Dallas tonight. Clippers coming in here 8-6, while you got a Dallas team that's 7-5. Luka Doncic is putting up bird numbers this year. Absolutely insane what Doncic is doing this year. You got Doncic actually averaging 34.3 points a game, 8.7 rebounds, 8.1 assists. So he's damn near getting a triple-double. He's almost getting 35 points. This is creative player stuff. And then you got Spencer Dinwiddie, the very good co-star. Spencer Dinwiddie doesn't need to be your second fiddle. He's just a very good co-star in the movie, and he's getting 18.5 a game. Then Christian Wood, a very good pickup from Houston, is getting almost 16 a game. And Tim Hardaway is getting his consistent 12 points a game, a little bit under that. So you have a Mavericks team that it does have 4 horses, but then everybody else is just kind of there. So they're playing good basketball, but they are in a situation where I wouldn't trust them with a 7.5 point spread. Why? Because the Clippers are much better than they look on paper. The Clippers have had a good month this month as well, too. They're 5-2 after not doing that well in October. You know that they lost 4 in a row at one point, and since that point on, they've won their last 5 out of 7. So the Clippers are coming off of a really good victory last night, okay? They did have a bad loss against Brooklyn the other night, but that was an adrenaline game for Brooklyn. Now, I think that the Clippers will figure out a way to make this game a lot closer than it looks on paper. Okay. I know that they're probably going to have some game time decisions as well, too. Most likely, Mr. Leonard won't be playing as well. So that doesn't take me away from liking the Clippers tonight. I don't think they can win, they can lose, but I think that this 7.5 is a good number for you to take the Clippers tonight. So there it is, Clippers Mavs. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out, and we move forward from there. Now we have ourselves the Jazz and the Knicks. The Jazz and the Knicks. This is going to be a really good one tonight as well, too. You have the Knicks coming in here 6-7. You have the Jazz in here 10-5. Jazz are playing the best team basketball in the league. They're kind of just doing what the Warriors do. You know what I mean? And the Warriors do have their stars, but at the same time, it's always a great team effort. But the Knicks are a very even team this month. The Knicks have actually are actually 3-4. But from what I'm looking at, the Knicks have lost one, and lost. Okay, that was a pretty bad loss the other day against Oklahoma City, losing by 10 and giving up 145 points. But they did get a good win over Minnesota in the stretch and a good win over Philadelphia. Both those wins coming on the road. So that's why the Knicks do loom somewhat of a danger. But Utah is so good at home this season. Let's just be honest. They're just a really good team when it comes to their home games. Utah is 5-0 at the crib. So they're 10-5. They played 15 games this season. They have won their first 4 out of 5 games this month, but they've ran into a little bit of a snag fool to finishing up their road trip where they lost to the Wizards last Saturday. Then they rolled around Sunday, lost to the 76ers. Now they play the Knicks tonight back at home. This is their first home game in about a week. So, after playing 6 out of 7 of their last games on the road, they do want to get some of that home cooking tonight. The Knicks, on the other hand, do not have great offense, but they're playing some defense this year. So that's why the Knicks are still staying afloat somewhat. But the Knicks are not top 10 in any category, and that's kind of a problem for the Knicks. Now, when you look at the lineup, they got 4 guys that are scoring in double figures. But then after that, guys are just pretty much going with the flow, in my opinion. And then I think you got to get more from Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose has played in 13 games this season, but he's only averaging 6.2 points a game. He's only getting under 2 rebounds and 2 assists a game. So Derrick Rose needs to be a little bit better, but I know Derrick Rose has his issues, his knee, all that stuff. And I would have thought Derrick Rose would have been able to help this Knicks team be much better. But we know that we don't have the Derrick Rose from 13 years ago. So it's just different now. He's just collecting a check in the league, it looks like. So you got Obi Toppin. They're still waiting for him to do something. RJ Barrett is kind of having a breakout year. He's a little bit under 20, averaging 18.9. And Jalen Brunson has been a godsend in a sense at the point guard position. But I think that the Knicks are a team that's going to be a team that moves assets before the trade deadline. And I think Julius Randle will be top priority to be moved by the Knicks. So that's another discussion for another day. When I look at this game, Utah should really roll, to be honest with you. I just don't like the way that the Knicks shape up in games this year. And I think that Utah, once they choke you out, it's lights out for you. So we'll see how it goes, but it should be a good one. And we will move on to our next game. Our next game is going to be a fun one. It's going to be the Blazers and the Spurs. It was supposed to be a great playoff series back in 1999. But what happened that day, though, that series, the Blazers absolutely got ran up and down the floor, and they got beat by a buzzer beater by Sean Elliott. That was one of the most complete teams ever, that 99 Spurs team. They don't get a lot of credit, but they were a very good team. And, they were the kind of the last of where you could have a bunch of old guys and you could win a championship. You know what I mean? So you have the Spurs coming in here 6-8. You got the Blazers 9-4. Surprisingly, a lot of people didn't expect the Blazers to be this good. They're still playing very good basketball. They're 4-3 this month. They just came off of a 3-game winning streak before losing to Dallas by 5 on Saturday night. They've had a few days off. Now they draw San Antonio. San Antonio is a team that started off the season very well, but they've kind of ran into a little bit of a rut. They did lose a game the other night against the Warriors, and they got absolutely crushed by the Warriors, losing that game by almost. They lost by a lot. They lost by 37 points. So they could have been better last night, but they just weren't. And literally, the Spurs are just having a really bad month after having a really good start to the season. When they started the year, they were 5-2. In the month of November, they're sitting at 1-6 right now, and they've only got one win, and that was over the Bucks in a surprise game, in a surprise spot at home. But they are on a 5-game road trip, and it did not start off well, losing by 37. So I would say this team has to they have to figure it out, to be honest with you. They have to figure it out and figure it out quickly if they think about anything else than just being a lottery team. Because, Popovich doesn't want to tank, but he already said that this team isn't that good moving forward. So we'll see how it goes. It seems like their schedule does lighten up a little bit after Portland. They do get Sacramento, and then they get a very ailing Lakers team, and they get the Lakers 3 times this month as well, too. So that's either going to be good for the Lakers or it's going to be good for the Spurs. But all in all, when I look at this game, this is another one that you say to yourself, hey, where do we go with this one? I would say this. I would say this is a good spot for us just to play the scoreboard. I think the scoreboard is a good play, and I honestly think that it's going to be a little bit of defense tonight, since you did see a Spurs team put up only 95 points last night. I think that actually moves into the night as well, too, where they're not putting up a lot of points. And then you have a Blazers team that doesn't have to score a lot of points to beat you. They're really focused in on playing really good defense this year, and they are very fun to watch, to be honest with you. And they have a lot of talent on the team, and they really overlook those guys. You guys have to understand there was a reason why Dame Lillard did not want to leave that team. All right, so that's the Blazers and Spurs, and the Spurs are 9-4, while the Spurs are 6-8. So this should be a good one. It should be a fun one. Over under 22.5. It's actually jumped up to 26. So I'll have those for you in a second when we talk tickets. Okay, so let's move on to our next topic at hand, and that's going to be our final game of the night, and that's going to be the Kings and the Nets. The Kings feeling good, feeling great, because they got a good win over the Lakers the other night, and then the Nets got a bad loss to the Lakers the other night. So, tell the two stories right here. You got a Kings team that's playing far better basketball than they started the season off with. They've actually won their last 6 out of 8 games after starting the season 0-4. So they've played much better basketball. They've went on a few winning streaks as well, too. After starting the month off 1-2, they won their last 3 in a row. They were able to beat Cleveland. They were able to beat the Lakers, and they were also able to beat Golden State, which was kind of not a surprise, because they had Golden State on the ropes last week and wound up losing that game by 3, but they got their sweet revenge the other night. Now they take on KD in the Nets tonight, and KD's coming into this game ready to really explode. KD is shooting 52.4 from the field right now, 35.8 from 3-point, and he is a 91.5% free throw shooter this year, and he's getting 6 rebounds with 5 assists. So Jacque Vaughn has kind of elevated his game. Kyrie Irving in 8 games has 26.9. This would be the top scoring duo in the NBA right now if Kyrie was active playing basketball games. And I'm telling you right now, their owner has to get up off the high horse and just worry about winning basketball games. He's not losing any fans right now. He's actually gained more fans right now. And I think that it's a poor rookie mistake of an owner that really doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, first things first, the guy that you put in charge, Sean Marks, to hire people, he's not doing a good job. Why would you have Steve Nash in there? And Steve Nash is literally out there coaching like he's coaching some little kids over at the AAU. it just doesn't work like that. Then you got Claxton who's playing good basketball, Royce O'Neal who's playing good basketball. You got Steph Curry stepping up his game as well too. So the Nets are getting much better. From a team that started off 2-7 and they've won their last 5 out of 6. It's been really good for the Nets with Jacque Vaughn as the head coach right now. Now the Kings, I think that they're playing kind of expected. The Kings are supposed to be good. They have a lot of guys that can ball. Keegan is a guy that I'm very high on. And then De'Aaron Fox has just been absolutely incredible lately. So we'll see how it goes, see how it checks out. But I do like the slight doggy dog tonight in the Nets. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take one more commercial break. And when we get back, we'll get back to the most exciting part of the show, and that's talking tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live, with the one and only, your host, the PrimeTime Capper Pop DiBiase. So let's go ahead and jump into Talking Tickets. Talking Tickets. You guys already know what time it is, and it's time to go ahead and get y'all some winners tonight. All right. So here we are. We got ourselves our first look tonight. It's going to be Ohio and Ball State. I got this going with the under 57, Ohio money line first half, and then we're also going to take Ohio on the half a point in the first quarter. So we need them to have the lead at least. All right. So that's how I see it here and at the Ohio Ball State game. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. Now, I did tell you guys earlier, I love the plus 17 on Bowling Green. Also taking the over 26.5 first half. And then we're also going to go ahead and get a little cute here and take the plus 285 first quarter with Bowling Green. I told you guys before, Bowling Green has been the thorn in Toledo's side. I seen this team beat them by 30 points a few years back, and they were a very bad team at that point. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But it's hard to trust Toledo anyway because this team has been Toledo has been so bad to me over the years. So I think that tonight they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. They could win the game, but Bowling Green is a tough out for them. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. All right, we got ourselves the PrimeTime PK6, and we do have ourselves the CBB PrimeTime CBB Dog of the Day for Bet Us as well too. That's going to be coming up in a second, but it's easy. It's going to be Vandy plus 145 money line. Then we got Bradley with the 6.5. Then we got SMU on money line tonight as well too, in a very, very good game that they have with the minus 150. Then we have the plus 7.5 with Marquette tonight in the Purdue game. And then we have the minus 11 with Oregon tonight. And they're playing in a spot that is very favorable to them. And then Vermont's getting plus 10 against a USC team that got beat by 15 by Florida Gulf Coast. I'll take that any day of the week. So there it is. There it is. And as I said before, let's go ahead and look at our Bet Us Dog of the Day. And that's going to be in college basketball as well, too. And this is going to be our Dog of the Day. And you guys can also go ahead and sign up. And you guys got to make a first-time deposit as well, too. use that promo code, and you guys will go ahead and reap the benefits. You guys will get yourself some good rebates and things like that, and good sign-up offers as well. So you guys go ahead and sign up with that link that's going across the board right now. That's going to be over at betus.com.pa. So you guys go ahead and check it out. And the promo code is going to be BETUS-PrimeWave Media. So I look forward to you guys joining. And if you do, please let me know. So then I can go ahead and mark you down, and you will be a client with me for a month. And then possibly you can go ahead and jump in for the year, because I do have the best prices of any of these cappers when it comes to signing up for Primetime Sports Investors. All right, so that's going to be our dog of the day right here. It's going to be Vandy with the plus 145. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. It should be a good game. It should be a very, very fun game as well, too. I really do like Vandy in the spot. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. All right, so let's go ahead and move back on over to our final finale of the night, and that's going to be your favorite, my favorite, the thing that I made, the ticket that I made my name on somewhat, and that's going to be the super high five tonight in the NBA. As I told you guys earlier, I love the Grizzlies and Pels over tonight with the over 229. I know I had it at 228.5, but still 229 as the numbers growing a bit. And then we had the Clippers as with the hook +7. So that means that people are jumping on the Clippers a little bit tonight as well, too. Then we have the Jazz with the 4.5 tonight. I really do like that one. I think that the Knicks are in a world of trouble. And I think that the under 226 Spurs Blazers is the correct play. And then we got a tiny dog of the day with the Nets plus 105 in the NBA. This will be a pick 'em by the tip. And the reason why they're kind of putting a little more emphasis into this game, because it is a TNT game tonight as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. That's a 26-1 ticket as well. And, man, if you're telling, hey, let me know. We hit this bad boy. Let me know. And if you guys do want to go ahead and, do the courteous thing, you guys can always throw tips to the PayPal, to the Cash App, to the Zelle. You know what I mean? Because I'm taking care of y'all. And the thing is, I don't know who gives y'all the emphasis, the pick, the play, the bet, and it always has value. I'm not handing you things that is easy money. Things that have a team that should win by 3 touchdowns, and they win by 4 touchdowns. I try to give you guys things that you can pay your rent with. So there it is. There it is. You guys go ahead and just keep tuning in, and you guys are going to keep getting gems. So I'll be back tomorrow. I got a lot of things going on tomorrow for tomorrow's show. We got a lot of things to talk about as well, too. We got CFP to talk about. We got some boxing to talk about as well. And then we got some more NFL, CFB, and CBB to go over. And then we just got sports. So you guys make sure to tune on in. Make sure that you guys are getting the best bets, period, point blank. And we'll go ahead and just keep having fun and keep winning these games. So it is what it is at the end of the day. So once again, you guys make sure to keep tuning in, and you guys make sure to share the show as well today too. Retweet the show, whatever you got to do. Let's get the numbers up, all right? So there it is. There it is. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. As I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.